Mid-Michigan's baddest ballers play here on Hometown Hoops. Now, here's Tom Eschen and Corey Kopic with all of tonight's big game action.
Good evening and welcome to a March Madness edition of Hometown Hoops. I'm Corey Kopic. We have so many highlights to show you tonight, you're going to want to light up a cigarette by the time we're done. In addition to your high school basketball highlights from across the region, we even have a college basketball element because Tom Eschen is live in Indianapolis where he's been covering an exciting Big Ten tournament. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, beautiful night here in Indianapolis, Corey. The Maryland-Nebraska game just got done, so a ton of people out on the streets. Those Michigan State fans hanging around because they played pretty well today. We'll have those recaps coming up, but I think you got some high school games to go first, so go get them, Corey.
All right, we'll start it off with our game of the week tonight. On January 19th, Flint Carman Ainsworth went into Flushing where they snapped the Raiders' 7-game winning streak and embarrassed them in the process, winning the game by 19 points. Now, Flushing went on to win 12 of their next 13 games, but the sting of that loss still lingered, and tonight they were looking for a little payback. Cavalier head coach Jeff Witham was concerned about his team's ability to match up with Flushing's size, and you'll see it right here. First half, they go one of their bigs. Joe Kujat exploits that size advantage and knocks down the baseline jumper over the smaller defender. But this game belonged to Carman Ainsworth. Freshman Michael Fletcher comes up with the big block, and he kept it in play. He's going to be a good one. On the offensive end, it's the other freshman, Terry Armstrong, banging home the 3-ball from the wing. The Cavaliers win this game 61-56. We're going to switch it up now with a little bit of college basketball. Now, Michigan State entered the Big Ten tournament as the #2 seed. And after Indiana's loss earlier today, they are the highest remaining seed as they took on Ohio State this evening. These two teams just met over a week ago, and the Spartans blew the doors off of the Buckeyes. Tonight would be a very similar outcome. First half, Deontay Davis, the freshman, knocks the ball away. Bryn Forbes collects it, gets it ahead to Denzel Valentine, who lofts it back to Davis. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you run a fast break. We'll jump ahead to the second half. Aaron Harris in the game now. He's going to leave it for Valentine, who is trailing the play, and he strokes the wide-open 3-ball. And Michigan State rolls the Buckeyes again, this time 81-54. So it wasn't the dramatic finish that we saw earlier in the day, but the Spartans wouldn't have it any other way. We're going to go ahead and send it back to Tom.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Corey. Appreciate that. It was one of those games that I feel like I've seen before, a couple times before. Michigan State and Ohio State, the third double-digit victory for Michigan State the last 2 weeks over that team. And their 7th straight victory in March, which is so important for Michigan State this time of the year. This game a little bit different, though, because of Tom Izzo at halftime. He wasn't happy. The players telling us in the locker room that he was angry about them, their effort, both offensively and defensively, something that hit home with his players, especially during this survive and advance time of year. They said they've been seeing all the upsets that have been going on around the country. They've talked about it, and with Tom Izzo's speeches in mind, want to make sure they don't take anything for granted.
You know, he blew up a little bit, but he had the right to. I've been around Coach for a long time, and you know when he's really mad, really mad, like he wasn't at halftime. He's probably right. So we settled down, like I said, in the second half. Got out in transition and got some easy buckets. Next thing you know, we were up.
Just quit being selfish. Quit being lazy, not doing your job. We weren't playing Michigan State basketball in the first half. And
he wasn't happy. You know, our defense wasn't great. Offense wasn't great. We weren't really pushing the ball. There's a lot of problems, but pretty much, you know, we're not only worried about this game, but moving forward too. So we had to get it right for this and the next two, hopefully.
Izzo knows what he wants this time of year. As you can see, the traffic's picking up around here in Indianapolis. A lot of people going on, but Michigan State will take on Maryland tomorrow at 3:30 in the semifinals. Not much drama in that game, but Michigan, they've had plenty of drama the last 2 days. They'll have much more on their buzzer beaters coming up later on Hometown Hoops. But for now, back to Corey from some more high school games.
Thanks, Tom. We'll hear from him in just a couple of minutes, and that's it for the first half of our show, but we're just getting started here on Hometown Hoops. Coming up after the break, we'll have more high school basketball as Lake Fenton, Powers Catholic, Vassar, and Millington were all playing for their playoff lives tonight. Who survived? I'll tell you after the break.
We are the Blue Devils. You're watching Hometown Hoops on NBC 21.
Welcome back to Hometown Hoops. Now, let's join your hosts, Tom Eschen and Corey Kopic.
Welcome back to Hometown Hoops on NBC 25. In the first half of the show, we saw some playoff high school basketball in addition to a kind of a snoozer of a Michigan State game, but that's okay with Spartans fans. The action continues now. Lake Fenton has been one of the best programs in mid-Michigan this year. The Powers Catholic had caught fire lately. Could the Chargers hold off the Blue Devils? Let's take a look. There's something to be said for getting hot at the right time, and the Chargers had won 7 in a row coming into this game. We'll pick it up in the first quarter. This is Corey Townsend getting into the lane and finishing with a little finger roll there. Lake Fenton going to the pick and roll, a high pick and roll. Jalen Miller to Andrew Forrester, who lays it up and in. That's making it look easy. Still in the first quarter, Townsend again taking it into the lane. He's not going to be able to get it to go, but Michael Herzog, his teammate's going to be there. We call his name every time we do Powers highlights. He bails him out. Blue Devils just too strong tonight, though. Miller at the other end taking it hard to the rack, and he'll finish. Lake Fenton wins a nail-biter, 57-56. Vassar had won their last 5 games in a row as they came into tonight's District 84 finals against Millington. First period, the Vulcans, Tyler Humper, look at the big block there on Sean Pardee. Sean Pardee shows up in every highlight. He knocks down the little leaner there off the glass. And then later on, it is a big three-pointer for Lamont Morrison. That cut the lead to 1. 4 minutes later, Cameron Henderson gets in the, splits the Vulcans defense. And Millington wasn't screwing around tonight. They beat Vassar 59-33. Earlier today, the Michigan Wolverines beat the Indiana Hoosiers on a heart-stopping three-pointer at the buzzer. Tom Eschen was in Indianapolis for the reaction. Not a bad way to start your day. Have you recovered from that yet?
It's been a remarkable 2 days, Corey. It's been a great way to start the tournament here for the Michigan teams. Another amazing win for Michigan today. They came into this tournament needing at least 2 wins to get an at-large NCAA tournament bid. So far, so good, but it's been pretty amazing these first 2 days. 2 games, 2 buzzer beaters. Playing for their lives, the Michigan Wolverines have found some March magic. You feel like something's in the air now this time of year?
Yeah, man, March. Anything can happen in March. So it's good we can get a little bit of a roll here. It's a lot of fun. So we're just, celebrate this one for a little bit, but then focus on tomorrow.
While Thursday, Indiana native Zach Irvin was the hero, today it was the unlikely source of Cam Chapman with the game-winning shot, unexpected even by the athletes.
No, I didn't actually, but I told myself if it did come my way that I was going to be ready to shoot it. And when I did shoot it, it felt good leaving my hands, and I seen it go in, and I was happy about it.
To be honest, I don't think he did. I thought Derek was going to shoot it, but Derek felt like Cam had an opportunity to make the shot, and he knocked it down.
Was that how it was drawn up?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I think Derek said that he actually thought it was Aubrey in the corner at first. Aubrey wasn't even on the floor, but I guess he thought. People joke that they look alike, but Cam stepped up, knocked it in, so it's awesome.
And yes, Derek Walton did think Aubrey Dawkins was in the corner.
I thought it was Aubrey, man. I thought it was Aubrey.
It's a shot Chapman says he's practiced, and now it has Michigan inching off the NCAA tournament bubble.
We can play with a lot of teams. How many could we beat? Well, that's the 4th one. That's a top 25 team, and we've played a ton of them. So weren't good enough to beat many of those guys, but we did beat 4 of them. So let them judge that.
John Beilein making a little bit of case to the committee there. Win tomorrow over Purdue. That game's at 1 o'clock. It'll be their 5th top 25 win of the year. So we'll see what happens if they can make it to the final with this run. It's been so fun to be along with them these first few days. Nothing like being in that locker room and seeing the celebrations from this team that's starting to believe in each other, too. That's something I've taken away from being around this team now all year long at this point. But for now, we'll have more tomorrow, of course, from both Michigan and Michigan State right here live from Indianapolis. More hometown hoops in store for you guys. Let's go back to Corey.
Thank you, Tom. You would think at this point in the show we would be done, but you would be wrong. We have a lot more to come after the break, including Saginaw and Arthur Hill, who comprise the best rivalry in all of mid-Michigan. Tonight, the Trojans were going for the 3-game sweep. I'll give you the highlights next.
You're watching Hometown Hoops on MEC 25.